like ooh la la, ooh la la. It's not hard to say how I feel. It's like ooh la la, ooh la la. It's kinda easy now 'cause it's real. Hey. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
You can tell that I make it look easy. It's a cheat code. It's a free throw. If it's so illegal, you can tell that I make it look easy. It's a cheat code. It's a free throw. If it's so illegal, yeah.
The game is strategic, I'm bobbing and weaving. Don't argue with demons, okay?
Okay.
Ain't nothing between us, vacation on Venus. I mean it, I'm somewhere you ain't, okay? I feel like I'm Jordan when I turn the mic on a dangerous cycle. I make you a rival, I pray for the title. We making the finals, I pray we don't spiral, I pray we don't. I wrote out the vision, been focusing winning. Don't try to guess me, you know that we driven. Nothing get past me, you know we ain't slipping. The team is on 10 men, I promise we different.
Hi everybody, I'm back. It's good to see you all. Oh my gosh. Whew. Yep, made it back. 24.5-hour trip back. Oh, Ned. Is that an adventure? And my glasses are a mess. All right. So, yay. Did you like that opening? I decided to go with a little. It fit the story. It fits the story. Basketball story tonight. True story, nonfiction. But first there we go. Now I can see. Checking in. Let's see. There's Linda is here and Home So should be live. Oh, it's Saturday night. Yep, Saturday night. I'm here. Oh, oh my gosh. In-N-Out Burger. You want an In-N-Out Burger? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yay. Heck, the big box stores and art stores are dangerous for me, and tools and toys. Oh, I tell you, they are. I know. Sam's online and they deliver for free. That's good. I use Sam's Club. Yeah, we used to have that. Jump between channels. Don't like split screen thing. Gail's here. We're going to have to get new tires for my little car. Thinking doing Costco. Bob's doing the research. Gail, missed you last night. Full had to unload it. There's Larry, 1 foot in each door. She's in, she's out. Costco is Dave. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you miss me. I'm not glad you miss me, but I appreciate that you miss me. It's very nice. Yes. Or you were talking, maybe you were missing Gail. Could be. Tamara's here. Nice. And two of these two back in the, oh yes. For a long time, we didn't shop Costco when it was just the two of us after the girls had left and gotten married. We lived in a small house, really small house, and we couldn't do Costco because the stuff was just too much, too big. And now we do, but very limited, yeah. It's not our go-to place. Yay, Gretchen's back. Hello. Ooh la la. I am feeling really good. We got home last night at, let me just make sure I say hi to everybody first. Krabbies are back. Tamara's here, Gaylor, and there's Lupe's here. Arteza paints. Oh, that gets me every time, Lupe. And yay, group hug out and about. Oh, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the stories while I was gone. Let me get a sip of my water here. Okay. Hopefully I have the sound. I had class today, so I played with some sound things. I found my Sennheiser lavalier. I got it on. I did a test. It sounded a little low, so I bumped it up. And what was I thinking? after all I'm upright. Well, thank you, Gail. That's awfully nice of you to say. Okay, so how am I upright? We left the hotel out the door into the cab at 7 p.m. on Thursday night. Literally, I'm putting in there, and then our flight was and our flight was supposed to leave at 10. And the Oaxaca airport is not a big airport, and it's kind of crazy, but it was there. And the traffic, it's usually about a 20-minute drive to the airport from where we stayed to the airport, maybe, but it can be an hour. So we gave it time. Then our flight was delayed by an hour and a half. Then we got to Mexico City, and that was so our baggage did not check through. Their baggage doesn't check through. So you get off, you have to go to baggage claim, get your bags, then haul them over to where your next flight is going to be and recheck them in for your next flight. Difficulty is, we asked which way we had to go because we had a connection. He said, oh, you go up the stairs. Well, that was the wrong way. So we had to come back through a security way again to go back in to get our bags, which was not pleasant and kind of crazy. And to find somebody who the language issue was, it was hard at times. One of the gals with us did speak some Spanish. And when you're trying to get something, it was just several different answers, and we were all tired. And we finally got our bags, but we couldn't check them in back immediately for the next set of the flight because it was like 1 in the morning. Yeah, it was probably about 1 in the morning by this time, and 1:30, and the desk for Aero Mexico, none of them opened until 4 o'clock in the morning. Nobody did. And we're in Mexico City. This is one of the largest airports in the world. And they're not it wasn't open. So we had to find a place to sit and hang out, and Art was going on to Dallas, and he had a layover too. So we had like a 7-hour layover. It was supposed to be 7.5 hours, and it was cut down because of the problem. So then we got him checked in to fly from Mexico City to LAX. Then when the flight finally took off from Mexico City, it took off a half an hour late to LAX, and we only had an hour and a half layover in LA. In that hour and a half, we had to get off the plane, go through customs, go collect our bags, and recheck them in and make it to our flight, which we did as they were called for the first boarding. Our group come in. They just boarded first class, and then our group was boarding. Oh, so we made it in, collapsed in our seats, and then flew back to Seattle. And then the flight to Seattle, it took 2 attempts to land in Seattle because of the wind and the rough landing. So then we had to go grab some food because we realized we had no food in the house. Then go pick up the car, all that stuff. Go grab some food. So we had pick up Aldo. So by the time we made it home, it was 7:30. 24 and a half hours later from the time I left Mexico. So we ate a quick dinner, crawled in the hot tub because we were dying because our muscles hurt. Both of us almost fell asleep in the hot tub. So we got out of the hot tub and we were out like a light by probably 8:45, 9 o'clock. And slept 12 hours straight. Just slept. So that's why I feel so good, because I just zoned out. I'm glad to be home. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my thing. It was nutso coming back. And I have since discovered that if I ever want to go back to Oaxaca, I'll fly from Seattle to Dallas, because Dallas has a direct flight from Dallas to Oaxaca. If I ever decide to go back, which I might, I would love to. It's an amazing city. It's an amazing cultural experience. The outlying villages that we went to, the Zapotecs that are still carrying on their traditional weaving and carving that have been around since, well, way before the Spaniards ever came. They're way before Day of the Dead was ever formed, way before, old Aztec culture, Zapotecs, indigenous people. Oh my gosh, was just amazing. So lots and lots of fun. Anyway, that was good, but it's kind of given me a renewed push to improve my Spanish, which I got by. I could read most of the stuff, but I had a difficult time speaking. I think the biggest survival of the whole thing was taxis. Oh my gosh. I went down some, because it was Day of the Dead and there was parades every night and traffic every night and people everywhere and all the kind of thing. Our taxis would go down alleys that I didn't think were supposed to hold, I thought were sidewalks, but we took them as roads. Oh well, that was the way it was. Yeah. Thank you. And it was just, it was phenomenal. Picked up a rug at a place for our living room. Picked up a carving at a artisan's place. So I've got all these kind of things to show and share, and I will. But tonight, instead, I thought I'd just jump in after I babble with story time. Old world. Wait, you're saying you're home before? No, I was not home before this. Larry, I got home at 7:30. Our flight landed. What else? How do you say except cerveza and tequila? And tequila, they don't do so much in Oaxaca. It's really well known for mezcal. And there is hundreds of different kinds of mezcal. I didn't try all of them. Some of them were very smoky. Some were other flavors. That kind of thing. I did not try all of them. I tried several. I tried a lot of different flavors of mole, which is my favorite. And had some really, really amazing good food. And I found a bookseller and got some books from the grandkids in Spanish. And I found an ofrenda, which was an altar all made out of books. Who else but me could find an offering, all made out of books? Yay. Well, yay for mole is right. I had a fermented guava mole. Oh my gosh. That was yummy. So yummy. But anyway, on to the next things, and I'm gonna put together some things, and probably next week I'll do a couple nights of the different, because there's so many different areas, and show you pictures from the different things and places I went to, the artists that I saw, and the artwork all over the place. Just amazing. But tonight, though, I thought I'd kick us off with a story that's completely different, and it's called Above the Rim. And it is a nonfiction. And as much as I have always loved basketball, which I have, we went to several games when the Sonics were here in the 79 playoffs. I went to all the games that were here in Seattle. Lost my voice for a long time. It was in the days of downtown Freddie Brown and Slick Watts and Jack Sikma and all those guys, which was amazing. But I had not heard of this story about this gentleman. And so I really, really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the artwork. The book is called Above the Rim, and it is by, let me see if I got, if I have a screen share. I think I forgot to pull up. Oh, there's a screen share one. I can pull that one up. Let's see if that'll work. Here we go. Screen share. Hang on, let me just put you, okay. And screen share. Oh, hang on. I am looking for my main window. Oh, okay, good. Yay. Let me make that a little bit bigger. And then, here we go. Back out of, how did I get in preview mode? I want to get out of, back to live mode. There we go. I have too many things. There we go. This gets smaller. That's what I needed. Okay, so here I am back. I wanted to take you over here and meet the author's name. Her name is Jen Bryant. And there wasn't really a lot about her on the author pages of what she talked about. She talked about that she didn't think about becoming a writer until she was almost 30 years old. And she just had a baby and wanted to try some kind of work that made her more available to her family. She was teaching high school. Yeah. And writing nonfiction, which was how she started, seemed like a logical choice. She's always loved to read and play with words. Her grandparents did crossword puzzles, and when she was growing up, and she learned to do them too. A lot of her work is done as poetry. So what I thought was funny, one of the things, somebody asked her where her favorite place to write was. And she said, in my car. She says, an old habit, I guess. When my daughter was a baby, she wouldn't nap in her crib. So I used to drive around until she fell asleep, and then I'd pull over and write for a few hours. Now she's a teenager, but I find I still do my best work in the car. I'm not tempted to walk away and do something else, and no one interrupts me. What a great idea. I thought that was stunning. Just an amazing idea of what to do. But the illustrator is a gentleman named Frank Morrison. He has really got some chops behind him. He was born in 1971, and he started his journey as a graffiti artist in New Jersey, tagging walls with spray paint. However, it was an opportunity to tour with music artist Sybil as a breakdancer, an influential high school art teacher, and a visit to the Louvre Museum in Paris that opened him up to new artistic and creative avenues. Isn't it always something like that? An early indoctrination into hip-hop culture can be seen through Morrison's work, which has been dubbed a mashup of urban mannerism, graffiti, and abstract contemporary, and reflects deeply on the loss of human stories from past eras. He strives to capture people as they are, translating emotions through his paintings and leaving a memoir of our life and times today. His work depicts African American livelihood in a way that is both familiar and comforting to those who often feel histories have been forgotten and cultures have been usurped. He remarks on his practice, my work dignifies the evolution of everyday underrepresented people and places within the urban landscape. I seek to both highlight and preserve the soul of the city through the lens of hip-hop culture and urban iconography. Ugh, can't say that word. I want people to experience the visual rhythms that choreograph life for the average everyday person. He's been featured at Art Basel, Scope Miami, and Red Dot art fairs, as well as the Schoenberg Center for Research in Black Culture. He also has he's an acclaimed illustrator. Morrison's work can be found in numerous award-winning children's books, including Coretta Scott King, John Steptoe Award winner Jazzy Miss Mozetta, and an NAACP Image Award, Our Children Can Soar, which I read to you, I believe, and Coretta Scott King Illustrator Honor for Little Melba and Her Big Trombone. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. So, he continuing to celebrate the teacher that changed his life by insisting he visit his first art museum. Morrison signs each of his works TTG, thanks to God, to also show his gratitude for God's plan in positioning him where he is today. I know I'm not by accident. I want to be just able to continue what I'm doing. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia with his wife and 5 children. Yeah. So that's the story of Peter Morrison. Shrink this up again. Shrink, there we go. And get here where I can see your comments. I like one of Springsteen's songs. I just don't. And grown in Queensland, what was it? A Philippine mango? Oh, mango salsa is my favorite. Oh, yes, it really is. Is that, who said India? Is India Delgado? No. Oh, anyway, did I miss somebody being here? Nope. Okay, I thought it must be talking about where they're grown. Yeah. Anyway, so next on, I'm going to read the story for you guys because it is. I need to get to my scenes. There we go. There we go. This is called Above the Rim. Now, if you're a basketball fan at all, or know anything about U.S. basketball, you'll know who this person I'm going to read about. Let me just move this over here. Kind of get it out of the way of that. There. Yeah. So this is Above the Rim, How Elgin Baylor Changed Basketball by Jen Bryant, and the illustrations by Frank Morrison. And you guys really watch these illustrations. The work that he does, the brush stroke, everything about him is just amazing. Let's see if he tells on this. What? The illustrations in this book were created using oil on illustration board. Okay, and the copyright is 2020. On a steamy summer day in 1945, a boy and his brothers played stickball in the street. There were plenty of nice parks in Washington, D.C. where people swam or played tennis, basketball, and baseball, but the child was black, and those parks were white only. Sometimes late at night, when the city was asleep, the older boys tunneled under the padlocked fences and played there anyway. But things can change in time, the child knew. Time was important. That's why his own name, Elgin, came from his father's favorite watch. Look at those shadows and the way the paint is. Oh, gosh. He was 14 when a hoop appeared in the field down the street. And this time, there was no whites only sign. It wasn't fancy, just a place to play basketball. A fine game of skill and strategy, and running back and forth. A flat-footed game as level as the court itself. Now, Elgin and his friends could play it too. But first, they didn't have the right equipment. So they played with a tennis ball. Then someone found a volleyball. Then finally, yes, a real basketball. Some of the older boys were very good and they knew it. "Hey, you see that shot I made?" one bragged. "That's nothing. You see that shot I blocked?" another boasted. "Oh yeah? Well, you just try to slide by me," another challenged. Elgin heard what they said, but bragging was not his style. On the court, he let his body do the talking. In one smooth move, like a plane taking off, he would leap higher and higher and higher, as if pulled by some invisible wire. And just when it seemed he'd have to come down, no. He'd hang there, suspended, floating like a bird or a cloud, changing direction, shifting the ball to the other side, twisting in midair, slashing and crashing and gliding past the defense, up, above the rim. And with a flick of his wrist or a roll of his fingertips, he'd put the ball in. The way he played was so different that people stopped what they were doing and watched. "Where did you learn those moves?" the other players asked. Elgin didn't have an answer. "I don't know," he told them. "It's spontaneous." So, yeah, making sure you guys, just making sure you guys, I stopped for just a sec so I make sure. Yes. Elgin grew taller and stronger. He jumped higher and leaped longer. His friends called him Rabbit. At All Black Springarn High, Elgin brought his outdoor moves inside. He could score from anywhere on the floor. A hanging jumper from the corner, or a drive inside spin shot off the backboard. "He's unstoppable," the other teams complained. "Go, Rabbit, go," the fans cried, as Elgin leaped, turned, and twisted toward the rim, or took on a defender one-on-one, gave a quick head fake, and reverse dunked over him. Whenever Elgin played, people stopped what they were doing and watched. After high school, Elgin wanted to go to college, but the DC colleges wanted whites only. "You should come out west," a friend said who went to the College of Idaho. So he did. It rained hard those first days, but when the skies cleared, it was time for a game. And soon people in Idaho stopped what they were doing and watched. "No one plays that way," the coaches declared. "Where'd you learn those moves?" they wondered. Elgin didn't have an answer. I don't know, he told them. It's spontaneous. That winter, Elgin led his college team to victory. And that winter, far away in Alabama, a black woman named Rosa Parks sat down on a city bus and refused to give up her seat to a white man. That was a victory too. When people learned about Rosa on the news, they stopped what they were doing and watched. Later, Elgin transferred to Seattle, where he led his team to the 1958 College Championship Finals. The newspaper wrote a lot about Elgin. They also wrote about the courage of the first black students in Arkansas to sit down in an all-white classroom. All across the country, people stopped what they were doing and watched. In 1958, the Minneapolis Lakers chose Elgin Baylor first out of all the college players in the nation. Elgin Rabbit Baylor was now a professional athlete. But in those days, being in the NBA was not like it is today. Fans flocked to watch Major League Baseball, but with only 8 teams, the NBA had a hard time selling tickets. The players didn't make much money. They traveled long distances in loud clackety-clack trains and slept leaning over their seats, their long legs jammed underneath. Sometimes they flew in made-over cargo planes. They played back-to-back nights and washed their uniforms in hotel bathrooms. They slept on beds that were too short. They played when they were injured or sick. Even so, Elgin played as hard as he could, and so did his Lakers teammates. Meanwhile, another team gathered in the basement of a church in Wichita, Kansas. They practiced sitting down and not fighting back, even if they were bullied and harassed. Later, they sat down at a whites-only lunch counter until they were served food. But change came slower elsewhere. That winter in West Virginia, when the Lakers needed a place to stay overnight, every hotel said, "Whites only." So Elgin and his teammates said, "No thanks." And the whole team checked into Edna's Guest House, where everyone was welcome. They were hungry. Where could they eat? Downtown, all the nice restaurants were whites only. Elgin bought some cold food at the bus station and sat in his room. That night, as the other players suited up and walked onto the court, Elgin sat down before the crowd without a uniform. "Why isn't Elgin Baylor out there?" the reporters asked. "It's not fair," the fans complained. "We paid to watch the whole team." But his coach and his teammates understood. They were with him at the hotel. They knew he'd been turned away at restaurants. "I'm a human being," Elgin told them, "and I want to be treated like one. Sometimes you have to sit down to stand up." And that's what Elgin did. The fans noticed, the newspapers noticed, and the NBA noticed, and the NBA commissioner noticed. A few weeks later, he made a new rule. No NBA teams would stay in a hotel or eat in a restaurant that practiced discrimination. This was 1958 or 59. Elgin had already changed the way basketball was played. Now, by sitting down and not playing, he helped change things off the court, too. In 1959, Elgin was voted NBA Rookie of the Year. 2 years later, the Lakers moved to Los Angeles, California, where famous people seemed to be everywhere. Fame changed people, Elgin knew, but it didn't change Elgin. In one smooth move, like a plane taking off, he leaped higher and higher and higher as if pulled by some invisible wire. And just when it seemed he'd have to come down, no. He'd hang there, suspended, floating like a bird or a cloud, changing direction, shifting the ball to the other hand, twisting in midair, slashing, crashing, gliding past the defense, up, above the rim. And with a flick of a wrist or a roll of his fingertips, he put the ball in. Wherever Elgin played, people stopped what they were doing and watched. And that's the story. In the author's note, she says, as a lifelong participant in both sport and art, I believe that the basic principle of mastery and excellence are the same whether you're running a 10K race, composing a poem, pitching a fastball, or painting a mural. Many of my previous books have been about art and artists, and in many ways this one is too. Artists change how we see things, how we perceive human limits, and how we define ourselves and our culture. The great ones add whole new dimensions, expanding the definitions of their activities and providing models to be emulated by future generations. NBA Hall of Fame player Elgin Baylor is such an artist because he changed the way the game of basketball is played. Baylor did for basketball what Picasso did for visual art, what Martha Graham did for dance, and what William Carlos Williams did for poetry. He broke with tradition and ventured into uncharted athletic territory, altering the game profoundly and forever. He came to basketball late and lacking any formal coaching or instruction before high school, created his own unique moves and shooting style. This creativity, coupled with exceptional athletic ability and a fierce dedication to team play, made him a standout star in high school, in college, and in the NBA. In his 2013 autobiography, NBA Hall of Famer Julius Dr. J. Irving recalled the first time he saw Baylor play on television and the tremendous effect it had on him. Baylor gave me an idea of how basketball could look effortless and beautiful. There is scoring, putting the ball in the basket, but also the artistry of how it's done. I see his movement reenacted in my mind, and I can't explain to anyone why it excites me, but I see it as somehow liberating. This is a new idea, one I have never heard spoken aloud. Baylor's influence on the game is prodigious, and yet his contributions to basketball is often overlooked. Reasons for this include the racial bias surrounding professional sports and sports media coverage in the 50s and 60s, the fact that pro basketball wasn't nearly as popular as baseball or football in the years during which Baylor played, and Baylor's own humility and aversion to self-promotion, bragging, or any inflated sense of contribution to basketball, of self-importance. These factors have allowed his unparalleled performance statistics and his unique stylistic contributions to basketball to go largely unheralded. Baylor's life on the court is only part of his story, however. His early experiences in segregated schools and athletic clubs, his journey west to colleges in Idaho and Seattle, his entrance into the NBA, his friendships with NBA teammates and rivals, his quiet but effective protests against racial discrimination. These were the building blocks of a humble man with an extraordinary talent, an athlete who, with his unique artistry, inspired players such as Michael Jordan, Julius Erving, and LeBron James. It's my hope that this book will introduce the next generation to a great American athlete and shine a light on his legacy. Oh my goodness. Oh, I have to go back to this one picture. I don't know about you guys. That black and white one is amazing. Looks just the red book right there. Oh yeah. But where's the one? That one. That one where he's the light behind him. The author is a poet mainly, and the way she put the words together was in almost a poetic type prose fashion. But the illustrator, that shine, that just amazing with his arms out and one arm down, how long his arms, that overextended length of the arms and legs in the pictures. Just fabulous. I think if I go here, yes, there I'm back. All right. Poetry in motion. Oh, good. I want to go back. I want to learn more about him. I don't know where he went to school in Seattle, where he went to college. I wonder, hang on. Let me find that out. Where in Seattle did Elgin Baylor attend college? College of Idaho. Oh, it's Seattle U. And he died in 2021. Yeah, he's a Seattle U, Seattle University. Seattle U is a Jesuit college in Seattle, but it has a very good reputation for its law school. It was amazing. Yeah, it's up on Capitol Hill. I know exactly where it is. I'm glad you like the story, Gail. That's what I say. Hey, Creative Roads by Art by Julia. Oh, Julia, look at you, girl. I like your title of your channel. Nice. Oh, Julia, that's Creative Roads Art by Julia Lee. Oh, wow. I go away for a little bit and you change everything up. That's pretty cool. I love it. Yay. Had your niece's 40th. Oh my goodness. I hope you had a good time with that. Anyway, so it's been my name for my business for over a year. I like it. And so you got your channel started and everything. I'm so far behind. I have so much to catch up on. And I did have fun doing that live the last night I was in, just before the taxi came. I did a live sitting from the floor. Larry saw it. And so did Nathan hopped on. And it was just an impromptu kind of, oh my gosh, which I think I'm I'm going to do some of those around my photography, some impromptu things. I'm still going to do stories all the time. You guys, this was 353. My class today, doc said, you know that you got 14 days before. I'm like, what? So before it's a year or something like that. I don't, but I'm just so glad to be back. And I had a great time. I have so much to share, but I'm so excited about getting back to reading stories for you guys and sharing all of that stuff with you. It's just wonderful. I missed you a bunch. I missed doing this. There's been a lot of chatter about Tamara's latest art. I hope you can talk her into sharing so I'll get a peek. Tamara, okay. How about send in artwork, everybody. Tamara, this means you too. And I'll put it on tomorrow night. Okay? I will pull up a couple of my pictures to show tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll maybe take you through that. But I want to see Tamara's and I want to see everybody else's. So Images by Gretchen. You guys know the real Images by Gretchen at iCloud.com, and please put live art in the subject. Put live art in subject. I'm typing this in. There. So send in your art, put live art in the subject, and then I can put it in. Yeah. And if you send it in by, is it daylight savings time starting tomorrow? Oh. Okay. I think it is. Tomorrow's fallback, at least for here. I'm still I'll still be at 6:30, no matter what the time zones, whatever is 6:30 Pacific time zone. But you know what? What threw me off like crazy when I'm just trying to figure out what I was. Mexico went to daylight savings time a week ago. Try to catch up with that when you're trying to make planes and stuff like that, and plans on where you're going. That was crazy. Because, yeah. And just trying to get the time and understand and not, yeah. I have a lot of work to do on my Spanish. But it'll be good. Feeling a little left out? Why, Larry? You're sending stuff in? So I think, is Nathan on tonight? Does he have a show? Is it tonight? Is he going live tonight? I don't know. I'm like I said, a week off. But Larry, everybody, send your stuff in. Feed them to us. Linda, and what ones do I pick? No, Nathan doesn't tomorrow. Today's Saturday. Okay. So send in your stuff. I want to see, we'll put some up. Everybody send something in. It would be wonderful to have a little bit of a flavor for the fall of what they've been working on and what your plans are, what you want to do with them, kind of that type of thing. It'd be great. It's been an extra week just trying to come back. India would be a place to get lost in. Yeah. Up for the adventure. I tell you, traveling, there's nothing to fear. We create a lot of fear around traveling and around going places and, this is going to happen. But you know what? It's all part of the adventure. I made it home. I have a story. I can laugh about it, all kinds of crazy stuff. But, Tamara, honest to Pete, I don't have time. Huff that. Yeah, it doesn't take, they're easy to drag in. Yeah. Sometimes I just make it harder on myself because I try to make it fancy. If I promise not to make it hard on myself, and try to make it fancy. You guys send them in, and then we can see everybody's. Yay. All right. Anyway, folks, it has been a delight to be back. And I had a great trip, but I also missed reading stories and reading to you guys. And it's just amazing to me when I step away from this for a bit to realize how much this feeds my soul and how much you guys really do feed my soul. It's so nice to be back, and it's so nice to have stories to share, and it's so nice to be able to read these, but it's so nice to see all your comments and to see you guys here, and I just love it. So send in your artwork. We'll be back tomorrow night at 6:30 Pacific, whatever time it is, and don't forget to fall back, I think, and until next time, everybody, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. And the first place you'll find it is when you go look in the mirror. Until next time.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Ooh, feel alright. We won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running
7 p.m.
cool,
Eastern.
with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow.
Nice.
Ooh, you got me
see that one.
feeling starstruck.
Music Boy collab.
We could be famous.
Jason Whitney did.
We could be famous.
I missed something about this. You don't.
You blow my mind.
Chicken scratches
Looking
are
like a
fine.
model. Better
I'll show you a photo of it.
than
Chicken
usual.
scratch one turned it into.
Yeah. You don't even try. Not average or typical. I'll put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black
that's
cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous.
So Larry, that's 4 p.m. our time, right? Tomorrow. Dance time.
We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous.
I think I put myself on mute. Sorry about that, you guys.
We could be famous.
So Larry, 4 p.m. our time tomorrow. Larry's big thing. We have the toy collab tomorrow. Everybody be there, and you're the best, all of you.